Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 301. Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black Entrepreneur Experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards. A skating rink and lounge is the perfect environment for millennials and adult entertainment. Welcome co-founders of Rolling Charlotte, Brandi Fox and Kendria Holmes. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, I've given our audience such a brief bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with our audience what you'd like them to know about you and your business?
So here in Charlotte, North Carolina, the three of us have joined together to bring a different experience that, we don't have in the area. The idea came back in 2016 to open a skating rink here in Charlotte, but a skating rink with a twist. Culturally, where we're from, skating is a thing, right? So we don't have any skating rinks here in Charlotte currently. We had them growing up, but we don't currently have any. So back in 2016, we had the idea, why don't we start this skating rink and make it Black? Really, truthfully, that's, the best way to describe it, to bring the culture in the skating world. We mixed it and have, we have a lounge, the sports bar feel. We just have a good time. The music, the food is good. So the skating rink idea, now we had to pivot and go outdoors a little bit with this. Just COVID helped with that a lot as well. But also trying to move inside has been a task. So, we pivoted and we came up with this brilliant idea to move this thing outside. The outside vibe is everything that you could want and more. So, Brandi can kind of fill in and chime in on this. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of how we got started with Rolling CLT.
Why don't we give a shout out to your other founder? I know that we have two of the three, but we definitely want to acknowledge her. So I'll let you guys shout out to your other founder and share anything you want about your other founder.
Well, we want to give a shout out to Shaniqua Ussery. That's our third little piece of the trio. That is our creative mind. That is our energy. That is like our fun portion. Like, she makes it fun when we do stuff and when we work together. So shout out to Shaniqua. Big Nick.
You talked about taking it outdoors. And so when I think about outdoors, because I reside in Las Vegas, Nevada, we don't really get snow. Do you guys get snow, or how do you guys make this year round, or what are you doing for that?
Right now, good thing about Charlotte is we really don't have snow. And if we do, it's usually about late January, early February. And it might be like 1-2 days, a couple of inches. So our weather for the most part is pretty mild. We usually get down in the morning in our coldest months, which are January and February, maybe the high 30s in the morning. But on average, we kind of average around that 40, 50-ish. So it gives us the opportunity to kind of pivot how we want to. So right now we're still outside. So some of the things that we've kind of added to prepare for the fall and winter season is fire pits outside. We've also got outdoor heaters. So that way, even if we are outside, we're still able to provide a good, comfortable feel for our guests. In addition, the good thing about skating is it's active. So once you skate for a little bit, your body's kind of warm anyway. So people kind of like that kind of balance of it. But something that we're going to be doing this winter, just to prepare for the colder months, just receiving feedback from our customers after it's been coming and rolling out, is we're going to be moving inside temporarily. And we're just going to kind of change the feel of Rolling CLT. So we'll be going inside and we'll be changing it to a glow-in-the-dark skating rink. So every time you come, you'll have the ability to have all your glow-in-the-dark materials on. We'll provide that. We encourage people to wear neon, glow-in-the-dark paint, and really just come in and have a great time inside and be able to skate and still enjoy the feel of Rolling CLT. And then we'll be rolling right back outside at the end of March, right at spring, and we'll continue from spring all the way to November.
Talk about raising capital to open the skating rink.
Capital was interesting, to say the least, just because when you are doing something that's different, this is something that's never been done. Sometimes, it's kind of, I would say in Charlotte, it's kind of hard to meet open-minded people. So when we first started, we were looking for funding. We were looking for investors. One thing that we did talk about and we noticed was that a lot of the males that we reached out to They weren't really receptive to the idea. We were able to secure funding from 2 investors, and they were both Black females, which, we loved, of course, because they were down to support us. But I would say during that marketing part for investing, the feedback that we got was kind of weird. It was like, people were like, oh, this is a great idea, but I guess they didn't feel like it was a great idea to the point to invest, which is kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like an oxymoron. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a great idea. It's going to make a lot of money, but they like, we're not going to invest. So for us, going back to the drawing board, especially with us having kind of all elements of preparation together, financials, everything, in addition to already having sales for our grand opening, because we did do pre-sales, it was kind of interesting to us that investors didn't feel like how they praised it so well, but the money didn't follow. But we're grateful with those 2 investors. In addition to our ticket sales from our grand opening, we were able to start rolling CLT and continue to grow it to where we are now. But that was definitely an interesting process.
But initially, we funded it with our own money. Mm-hmm. Like, we got everything started up until the grand opening. We got everything that we need, all of our inventory. And then, that grand opening really kind of propelled us and helped us gain more capital so that we can continue to grow the business.
Someone's listening to this interview and they're thinking, I'd like to do a skating rink in my area. What advice would you give them?
I would say proper preparation. For us, we kind of got together September of last year and came up with this idea. So our grand opening was September 4th of this year. So that whole year was nothing but planning, legitly. I would say have all your logistics in place. Know what the number one thing is: team. You got to have a team. With the 3 of us, we hired our first rink manager. We got a team in place for the floor, everything. So I would say look for a team. Be prepared to network. The good thing about all of us is that we're all Charlotte natives. So even coming with the facilities that we use, lawyers, human resources, all that stuff, don't be afraid to tap into your network. And that's something that really helped us. We were able to kind of reach out to people, and people were just so open to helping us and giving us advice and information. That's important as well. Also, it's important to listen to your audience. I think a lot of times when people get into new businesses, especially a skating rink, you kind of want to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have in your mind how you want the business to grow. But it's important to listen to your audience. One thing that we did was we had a skating symposium where we let skaters come in and talk about the pros and cons of the current skating rinks, what they want, what they don't want, and taking in all that information allowed us to create an experience that our customer base would like. So I would say those would be the key foundation to getting started.
What is the best advice that you wish you had followed?
I would say, because we did really good with following good advice. For us, I would say having a backup plan in place. A lot of things that we did, we kind of took it at front value, like, okay, we secured this location. Yes, we excited, we're going. And then our first couple of openings, every weekend when we opened, something always just kind of happened. And thank goodness we were able to kind of pivot. But I feel like in some of those things, having a backup plan, like if it rains, having an indoor location, that's something that we didn't have in place. So like if it rained, we had to cancel for that day. So that was a lesson learned. So I think our biggest thing would just be having a backup plan in place just in case we need to pivot what we have going on.
Talk about your backgrounds. Do you come from a business background, and have you launched businesses before?
So for me, my background has always been sports. I was a professional basketball player, played all through college. It was always just sports, whether it's playing basketball, whether it's training, whether it's coaching. Then I really kind of started my entrepreneurial journey maybe about, really, I'll take it back to middle school, because I've always been the one to sell something. I took candy to school. I sold that. I sold T-shirts. And then I really got into business in 2014 for myself with my cousin. That kind of really began my entrepreneurial journey. And from there, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for a couple of years now. So I've had family members, that have built businesses and things like that. But I really come from a middle-class family, just understanding the hustle, the grind, so I did see my parents do that. But in terms of just being an entrepreneur, something that I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. So at a young age, I always I thought basketball was going to be it, but I knew I didn't really want to work for anybody. So I had to figure it out. And the skating rink is really my first, if I had to say my first real from the ground up. It's been an experience, been a learning curve, something that I'm really enjoying, because it's kind of laying the foundation for the next thing that I'm going to do and the next thing that I'm going to do. So yeah, that's me. That's my story.
Mine is similar to Kendria's. I started as well younger, in high school. Well, actually elementary school, I used to do the same thing, like lip gloss rings. That was my first thing I sold. I used to go to the Family Dollar. I take my allowance and buy a lot of them, and then I sell them on the bus to all the girls at school. So that kind of started me about 5th grade. And then in high school, I was the same way. Like, I did have a job. I worked at Wendy's, but I didn't like the fact that I was making $6.90 an hour. Like, it kind of stressed me out. So I started doing other things. Like, I braided hair. What else did I do? I wrote papers. Like, I would literally, any kind of way I can make my own money and set my own prices, I did. I started my first business at 21, Pamper Us Mobile Massage Service. It's Charlotte's first mobile spa company. So I've been doing that for 10 years now. That's my full-time business that I've been doing outside of rolling. In addition, in the past 3 years, I started a consulting agency called Be the Entrepreneur Consulting Agency. And we help startups get through the startup process by providing step-by-step guidance. And lastly, I have a grilling business. It's called Grilling with the Fox, and we specialize in mobile grilling. And that's a seasonal business I run from March to November. So entrepreneurship is kind of like been my life for the most part. I really like it. And I do come from an entrepreneur family. My mom had a home daycare my whole life from like 11 up until I graduated from high school. So she was definitely one of the key elements in me staying in entrepreneurship, just seeing her grow, start her business and then grow it. It was exciting for me. So I knew that freedom that she had to be able to be active mother for me and go on field trips and all that stuff. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I knew I wanted that lifestyle and flexibility of my time. So that's definitely one of the catalysts of what keeps me going as an entrepreneur.
You talked about building your team, and I want to talk about the co-founders. I am just really impressed with seeing 3 African-American women starting a business together. So talk about when you have founders and you have partners in the business, that's like a marriage. Give us the pros and cons of that.
Well, that's the exact words that I use as well. I call it the perfect marriage, just because we came together and we just clicked instantly. There's not any drama. There's not any real bickering. We're more like sisters. I'm the oldest, Brandi's the middle child, and Shaniqua's the younger sister. That's exactly the best way to describe our relationships. And so, yeah, I mean, everybody stays in their lane. Everybody understands their roles. Everybody understands the things that they bring to the table. And we stay in our lane. So it's really, and our resolve is 2 out of 3. If we have to make a decision about something, what the highest bidder, if the best 2 out of 3, we go with whatever. So it's simple. We keep things simple. We're always looking for a solution in everything that we're doing. So it's no real arguing, no real, none of that. So I call it the perfect marriage, but the best way to describe our relationship is 3 sisters.
I agree. And I would say for me, it was a change because all my other businesses, I did by myself. Running a business by yourself, I could say the pros and cons. The pros, of course, is that you get to make your own decisions. So for me, I'm used to kind of like waking up, you know what? Today I'm going to add this service. And like I text my assistant and it's added. So now it's kind of different. It's different in a group because, when we got a decision, it's like, okay, let me send it to them and let's get the 2 out of 3. And then if it's the 2 out of 3, then we can go. So I could say for me, that was a challenge getting that extra opinion because I have never had to, really do it. But I would say the best thing and what I love the most, kind of what Ken said, was that we stay in our lane. We all know our parts. Like, I'm really good with the background business stuff, making sure that the systems are put together and they work. Ken is an executioner. She's going to take what I put together. She's going to put it to the pavement, let me know what needs to change, what needs to do better. Like I said from the beginning, Shaniqua was our creative mind. So like these shirts we have on, planning, she's a vet. So she's real good with time management. So putting things in order, she's really good at that. Like Ken said, we stay in our lane and we communicate well. Like if we feel some type of way about something, we communicate. And I would say for anybody that's in a partnership, that's the key, is communication. And we did that from the first time we met. We talked about what we said. We weren't going to argue about money. We were going to be fair. We were going to do whatever was best for the business, put our personal regards to the side. And once we talked about that, our first meeting, and we came to the conclusion of what we wanted to do, we kept that as the foundation. It's definitely helped us remain stable and have a little happy business family.
Talk about your zone of genius.
My zone of genius would be just business in general, business practices. Like that is my zone. Like I'm really good at creating systems, creating things that really work and make the business run more seamlessly, because that's the key. Automation, all those type of things. that's my role. That's what I try to do, is make sure that business background pieces together. So that way, whatever we need to do, I just want to make sure it's a seamless process to make sure that we don't have to do, the work smarter and not harder. That's my area of genius.
I think Brandi said it best for myself, just being an executionist. I think the sports background helped with that a lot. Understanding the play, running the play, understanding that, what this player is going to get us. So kind of keeping that, what's the vision? What's the goal that we have? What is it that we're supposed to be doing right now? Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up. Of course, it's a lot of other things that we could talk about, but we'll just leave it at that.
That's the main.
Is there a social cause tied to your business?
Absolutely. A few. We have our nonprofit, Rolling Homies, which is our nonprofit where we're looking to service our Gen Zs, where we want to teach them things that they're not learning in school, life skills, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business building techniques, stocks, trade, different things, financial education. So we're developing a curriculum around that where we're going to host different classes throughout the months of the year, 3-month increments at a time, where we're going to teach on one specific thing. We're going to have hands-on activities for them, understanding and learning how to make up your bed, understanding and learning how to, sweep, how to clean up, brush your teeth, different things like that. So yeah, the cause for the community is everything that we're doing. Even our events now, we're bringing community together. We're bringing Black businesses together, creating marketplaces for them to be able to come and sell their products at our event. So the basis of everything we're doing from the jump, when I had this in mind for myself back in 2016, was really just to service the community in any way that we can, because we're all from the area. We're all Charlotte natives. So being able to pour back into the city what they poured into me, because the city for me has done a lot, being an athlete in the city, a very well-known athlete in the city. The city has done a lot for me and who I am today. So this is my opportunity to give back. This is my opportunity to pour into them and help make the world a better place, just to be truthful about it. So yeah, that's the cause for the community that we have. Everything that we're doing is for the community.
And I agree. And piggybacking off that real quick, I would say the diversity. I think what we're doing, it crosses all those lines, those blurred lines. So, at our events, we've seen people from all different socio-demographics, ethnicities. We've had Asians, we've had Indians, we've had Black, we've had white, we've had people of Arabic descent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've literally had all these people that feel comfortable enough to come into one area and really enjoy each other's company. So I would say that's the biggest thing that excites me, especially right now with so much going on with race across the board, to be able to create something where people of all walks of life feel comfortable to come and enjoy themselves. I would say that's very exciting for me as well.
What problem exists in the world today that you'd like to solve?
Homelessness. If I could solve anything for me, I would want to solve homelessness. It's too much money. It's too many vacant buildings. It's too much housing that nobody's using. We throw away money every day. So it really breaks my heart to see homeless people, whether they're in the situation because they choose to be or whatever. Just homelessness is what I would cure if I could cure anything in the world.
I agree.
I want you both to have a monologue, and I want you to name the person, living or not, and this person has inspired you so much. Name that person, and what are you saying to that person?
Tanya Pfeiffer, thank you for paving the way. Thank you for showing me the way. Thank you for being the example. Thank you for never quitting when the odds were stacked against you. Thank you for loving me unconditionally. I love you.
Tony Boyce, thank you for always being an inspiration. Thank you for always being there for me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you for always loving me, regardless of my flaws. Thank you for always being an encourager for me during my down times. And thank you for being one of my number one supporters. And lastly, thank you for loving me unconditionally, flaws and all.
There are so many brands and businesses that are dominating. Talk about a brand or a business that's dominating that you admire and why.
God is dope. It's a brand that it really speaks for itself. The brand is dope. What they're representing is dope. What they're pouring into the community, what they're giving to the world is a really dope thing. Anytime, for me, you're highlighting our Heavenly Father in a world that wants you to be ashamed of the spirituality that you have, the God that you serve. I think that brand, is really representing the kingdom in a very positive way.
I would say for me, it's a local organization here, but it's called Black Businesses of Charlotte. And I really love the organization because they regularly embody the importance of Black businesses supporting each other and coming together. They specialize in like Black Food Truck Fridays. They started that here. They do a lot of Black community events. They do kids education. They do adult education. They're really good about partnerships and just really putting other small businesses on the map. And I've seen businesses that have worked with them, and just working with them in general has catapulted their businesses and grown it. So I really love what they're doing. And I know for me, a lot of things of how they move, I definitely want to mirror for Rolling CLT and incorporate in our current skate model.
I want you to think over the last 30 days, what was your biggest win?
I would say our biggest win is now having an opportunity presented to us to have a permanent location. That's something that we're currently in the works with. Somebody saw our idea and they saw what we were doing and they were inspired by it, and they want to be a very big asset to us and give us the opportunity, like I said, to have a permanent location, which of course was our goal that we had for September 2022. So being able to secure something like that within 30 days, I would say that's our biggest win right now.
I think we got another one too.
Go ahead.
So we launched our our rolling mobile service. We're going to service parties outside of our venue space, birthday parties, churches, homecomings, whatever the case may be. As long as someone has the space available, the surface, we're going to service them. So we actually secured our first college, UNC Greensboro. We're actually going to them on this Thursday. So that was a really big win for us. We just launched the service in October, and to secure that, within 2 weeks. Yeah, we secured that within 2 weeks. That was a really big win for us because we really want to take this show on the road. We're going to do an HBCU college tour in the springtime. So to be able to book this college for us was really, really big. And since then, we've had 4 other colleges to reach out to us. We have a college that we're homecoming we're going to do in February as well. But yeah, I think that's a really big win for us as well. God's been working on our behalf, man. It's really been an incredible thing to be a part of. The blessings that are being, bestowed upon us are really a great thing to be a part of. And we're really grateful for it.
And how do you celebrate your wins?
We hang out. We hang out.
We go out to eat.
Yeah, we go out to eat.
We like to eat.
We like to eat. We definitely are going to eat.
But it's always working though. It's funny because even though we do go out, like even when we go out to eat, like we eating and we're playing it. Like we do have fun downtime, but like because we're all so vested, even when we're like our downtime is still kind of work time, which is exciting for me because it lets me know that all 3 of us, like we really love this. Like it's not just a business for us, like it's really a passion because when we can talk about it and work on your business, even in times where you're not really supposed to be working on your business and we're not upset, like we don't get tired. Like we wake up at 5 and we like, hey, y'all, I was thinking about this. We go to bed at 11:30. We like, hey, y'all, I was thinking about this. It's like a constant excitement. So I think that's one of the things that kind of make us excited as well.
The word is listening. What is that resounding sound or message that your generation is saying that we should be listening to?
Away with working so hard. We're changing the narrative of our parents and our ancestors of working extremely, extremely hard. We're starting to figure out how to work smarter, but technology is in our favor though. So we're learning how to make internet money, make online money, make money from our cell phones, make money from home, not having to go and work, in factories and mills and things like that and have to wait for retirement. Entrepreneurship is becoming really magnified in our generation because we're finding other ways. And I think that's really what, we're telling the world. We're telling our parents, hey, listen, sit down and chill out. You don't have to do this, you don't have to do this as much as you had to. You don't have to work as hard as you had to because now we have another way that has been kept a secret for so long, but now we're starting to crack the code. So for me, I think that's a lot of what our generation is trying to tell everybody to listen to.
I would say for me, I would say self-care. I've noticed that a lot in our generation, like we really started to put ourselves first. Like if I'm tired, like if I'm having like, when we get burnt out, like not being afraid to use that PTO just to stay home and do nothing. Taking time away from technology, even though technology is a blessing, but taking that time away from technology to do other things that kind of inspire creative thinking, like going for walks at the park, going to shows, just different things outside of working and understanding that working is important, but life is more than just working, expanding our horizons, traveling, those type of things. I think that's something that our culture is really starting to take part of and understanding the importance of balance in your lifestyle.
Speaking of self-care, what does self-care look like for you?
Well, I like massages. That is a top priority on my self-care list. I would say doing things like with my kids. I'm active. So we're outside like hiking, tubing, skiing. Like my kids are like some of my favorite people. So we really have a good time together. So whenever we together, like it's really fun. So I would say eating, traveling is my number one. That's big for me. I haven't got to do it lately just because we've been so invested in the business, but traveling is really big for me. So traveling, massages, spending time with my kids, those are all key things that tie to my self-care and keep me sane.
And for me, number one is absolutely spending time with my daughter. I have an 8-year-old as well. So being able to, we're outside a lot. We do, we play golf, we horseback ride, we go and play basketball, we shop a lot. We do that a lot for self. That's number one on my list, shopping. I also enjoy, I have a 2-week schedule, standing appointment, going to the nail salon, getting my hair done. Yeah. And I like to chill. I like to be at home watching TV. If I'm not working, if I'm not at the gym, I'm at home chilling on my couch. And that is the number one thing that I love to do. And spending time with my family. I can't say that that's refreshing for me as well. I have a very close family. I have a big family. I have twin brothers, nieces and nephews, my cousins, my aunts, my granny. Like we all get together and we just like to hang out. So I'm looking forward to Christmas. We're all going to spend time in the mountains in Tennessee. We have a family trip planned with everybody. It's about 30 of us. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of people, but I guarantee you I'm going to be somewhere on the couch chilling.
Right.
What is the best decision you've made as a leader?
To develop myself personally, I would have to say, number one, leadership is a skill that you have to develop. So to develop myself personally, about 4 years ago, I really, really began to dive into personal self-development, what that looks like, and how to really hone in on your mental toughness and increase your mental capacity. And so you can endure more, because on the journey of entrepreneurship, on the journey of business building, you're going to run into a lot of hardship, a lot of heartache. So who am I as a person to handle these tough times? You have to be mentally tough. So that's something that a decision that I'm glad I made for myself, because motivational speaking is something that I really want to get into. So you have to become somebody else, right? I had to learn how to motivate myself before I could motivate somebody else. So the last 4 years of my life, I've really, really given it to personal self-development.
In addition to that, I would say for me, the release of control. Like I said, owning the business by yourself, you used to kind of like being in control of all aspects of how it moves and how it goes and what it does. And, for me, I would say as a leader, I've learned how to trust people to do their job. You know what I'm saying? Trusting people enough to release control and let them do what they do best without me feeling like I have to be on them or behind them or all that kind of stuff. So I would say outside of self-development, the release of control is something that I feel like is important as a leader.
Let's talk about legacy. When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as somebody who was not afraid to pioneer. All of my businesses, except for my consulting businesses, have been the first real business that's kind of registered or whatnot in Charlotte. So being a pioneer is really important to me. So I want to be known as somebody who is a pioneer. I want to be known as somebody that's good with balancing. And I want to be known as somebody that did not give up. Done a lot. I've been through a lot. So to be able to kind of be resilient and grow through all of that, I would say those are the top 3 qualities that I would want people to remember me by.
For me, she served her people, a servant leader. I always say that service to many leads to greatness. So I just want to be somebody that's known for serving in whatever it is that I do, serving in the skating community, serving in my community, serving in my church, serving in my daughter's life, serving in, whoever's around me. So I just want to be somebody that's known for being a servant leader and somebody that's known for being fearless in everything that I do. I was a fearless basketball player. I'm going to be a fearless business owner. I'm going to be a fearless, wealthy individual, right? So fearlessness and being a servant leader. And thirdly, if I had to add anything, just being an inspiration to whoever is around me.
What can we do right now to support your business?
Well, if you're in Charlotte, definitely come out to our Rolling COT events. We have them right now every other weekend. So just that support of coming if you're in the area or within driving distance. Outside of that, I would say following our social media pages, subscribing to our emails. Our goal is to expand outside of Charlotte. So we're looking for locations and people and environments that might be another good setting for Rolling COT. We would love to have a Rolling Las Vegas, a Rolling LA. So, if you feel like your area is somewhere that, could use what we do, that'd be great. But outside of that, sharing our posts, following social media, exposure is key to everything. So if you're local, come support. If you're online or virtual, sharing, subscribing, that's always beneficial because just kind of like how you found out about us, you never know who will see somebody else's share, somebody else's post. So I would say those would be the best ways.
What book would you recommend and why?
The Holy Bible. If I could recommend any book and translate it in a language that you're going to understand, just because for me, the greatest leader was Jesus Christ to ever walk the face of the earth. So when I study leadership, that's who I'm studying. That's one of the people that I'm studying. Of course, we have our earthly members, the Miles Monroes of the world, and, all of these great motivational speakers, all of these great leaders, John C. Maxwell, I study them as well. But if I had to recommend any book, I would recommend you read the Bible and read it for your own interpretation, for understanding, right? And not just as a story. Read it to really learn something about how the greatest leader of the world operated.
I agree. That's a good one. I would say business-wise, one of my favorite books is The 4-Hour Work Week. And I really enjoyed that book when I read it, just because for me, one of my key things of being an entrepreneur is my time. I love freedom. I love being able to do what I want when I want to do it. So the 4-Hour Work Week was cool for me because it literally teaches you, like I told you, I'm all about systems and automation and how to really have my time work for me. So that book really gave me a lot of inspiration in how to create systems to be able to give me more time. So it specializes in how to take your work week. If you're a full-time entrepreneur, most of the time your work weeks are like 80-hour work weeks. People think we have it easy, but we're literally working consistently. So how to take a normal entrepreneur schedule of working 80 hours and taking it all the way down to 4 hours and your business still being able to not even make the money that you were making when you were working 80 hours, but to exceed that. That was definitely important to me. And that's a lifestyle that I'm looking to have by the time I'm 35 in 3 years.
Talk about motherhood, money, and managing a business.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot.
Barely hanging on over here.
Right. It's a lot. But I feel like one thing that I love about like how I raise my kids, like both of my kids are on my payroll. So I've taught them already how to balance and manage their money. So they get paid every Sunday. My daughter does things for my business, like my receipts. She uploads them. She put them in different categories. My son, he does his own. He's 7. My daughter's 12. My son's 7. So he does his own little thing. So he'll help her. He'll organize the receipts, their chores, those type of things, and teaching them money responsibility. So, they have I recommend green light card. If you're a parent and you really want to teach your kids how to manage their money, the green light card is amazing. I deposit their money. I get to see what they're spending it on. And teaching them the art of responsibility, that would be key. And they get to see how I manage my money. Like I try to give them all their needs, of course, but I also try to give them their wants. And I think giving them that balance, it works. Like I'm not afraid to say no. If we go to the store and they're like, oh, like my daughter's real big about shoes now. She's like, oh, Mom, I want these shoes. Like she sent me these shoes. That was some $400 Jordans. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it for Christmas. I'm not buying it for I'm just not going to buy it. Now, if you want to save up your paycheck and buy those shoes yourself, you can definitely do that. And she's the type of person, she will do that. So, I think balancing those yes and no's, it helps them to kind of understand like, okay, if mama ain't gonna get it, I can save up and get it. But if I want something else, I can kind of like that adaptability. That's what I would say would be key. But I feel like as long as you have open communication, like I said, communication, I communicate with my kids well. So I communicate with them about everything, kind of where we're going, how we're moving. Of course, I ain't telling them like about bills and stuff, but I'll let them know, hey, mama had to get this. We ain't going out to eat this week. We try to go out to eat like 2 times a week. I'm like, hey, we're going to be cooking in this week. But to make it fun, I might get like at home pizza making kit. So, even though we're not going out, it's still something fun that we can do together. So I think that ability, like I said, to adapt to wherever we at the time.
So for me, for myself, is I enjoy having my daughter around as well, just so she can see how it is that we're operating, what it is that we're doing, how her mother's working in a non-traditional way from, your typical 9 to 5, right? She always says, because I day trade as well. I'm a day trader. So I'm always, I ain't gonna say always, but looking at my phone, at my charts a lot of times. And she's sitting there and she's looking at my charts as well. So in everything that I do, I just try to, because I believe that life is the best school, right? Is the best education. So we go out of town, we take trips. We're always, we're doing things together. We play golf together. I play golf and I bring her out there with me. We take lessons together just so, I want her to always be around just to show her that this is a way that you can do it. You know what I mean? If you want to do it the other way, cool. I'm supporting whatever it is that you want to do. But this is what, from the ground up, from birth, this is what you've seen me be a part of, a different way. So this is what's going to be instilled in you. So as our business continues to grow, if mama's ever dead and gone, I know I can leave my business to my daughter. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's fulfilling for me. I absolutely enjoy having my daughter around. And being an entrepreneur, that's why you're an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? So that you can do whatever it is that you want to do with your own time. You can have, whatever time you want to have with your kids. So like Brandi said, I communicate with her a lot. I let her know what it is that we're doing. This is where we're going. This is, what we have to do. This is what I have to do for this amount of time. Give me an hour, 2 hours, and we'll go, Just having that open communication with her, but also being able to bring her along. We've also had conversations about her, starting her own business. We thrown out a few ideas, whether it's a kid candle company or just different things like that for her to kind of think for herself, maybe in a year or so, we'll really put foot to pavement and really start her own business. So just building that entrepreneur mindset, from an early age. We were built the 9 to 5 mindset from an early age. So we're just trying to rewrite something and make it different for our children.
If you conducted this interview, what is the one question you would have asked yourself? I want you to ask the question and answer it. And I need you both to answer that question.
I would say, what is your motivation? And I say that because as a startup consultant, motivation is one of the things that a lot of startup entrepreneurs struggle with. How to keep pushing when the money is not there, how to keep pushing when you feel like doors are slamming, how you feel, when things are not going the way you plan, how to keep going. And I would say what motivates me is, I would say, of course, the impact that we're making, that motivates me, in addition to knowing that what we're doing is on the right track. And some of the things that you can kind of see is when your customer base is supporting you, I would say virtually and in person. I would say when the money is there, you know what I'm saying? Like you might have a goal of 5,000, but you might only clear 2. But the fact that you have 2, you know what I'm saying? That's still something to celebrate. So the motivation is the small wins. I can say that. Those small wins that kind of get you closer to your goal, that's what kind of motivates me as an entrepreneur to kind of keep pushing and jump those hurdles, and also understanding when to pivot to kind of get the goal, to kind of knock out the goals that I have for myself. So that would be one question that I would ask.
That's really what came to my mind as well. But the question in my mind was, what's your why? Your motivating factor. And for me, it's not even really about business. It's more about leaving something for my kids, number one. Number 2 is not having to exchange my time for my money on somebody else's account. And number 3 is, I know by me having the belief that I have and going as long as I've gone with the idea, because it was from 2016 and now 2021 is really beginning to manifest, is really being able to see this through. And I know me seeing this through has inspired other people around me. It has lit a fire in people around me, my siblings, my parents. They're seeing things differently. They're seeing, oh, wow, this can really happen. If it happened for my daughter, if it happened for my sister, it can happen for me, right? So being able to inspire those that are around me, helping them to understand that those crazy thoughts that you have for whatever it is that you want to do in your life, you're not crazy. So yeah, that would be the question that I would ask myself and the answer that I would have to give.
We've come to the part of our interview. It's called Fun Facts Lightning Round. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'd like you to give me very quick answers. If there's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
Yes.
Look, I feel like we're on a game.
Right.
Let me sit up.
Your first job.
Wendy's.
McDonald's.
Your favorite color.
Orange.
Red, blue, and purple.
The last movie you saw.
The Gladiator. Oh no, The Black Widow. I watched that yesterday.
I think pass, sorry.
You relax doing what?
Watching TV.
Eating.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Drake. Singer, Whitney Houston.
Beyonce.
Your favorite dance song?
Pass.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
Tacos.
Chicken.
Your favorite month?
April.
March.
Workout or hit the couch?
Workout.
Brandi and Kendria, thank you so much for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience Podcast. Before we let you go, why don't you share with our audience the best way for them to connect with you and do business with you? And feel free to leave all your social media handles.
So you can reach us online at our website at www.rolling.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at rolling_CLT. Also on Facebook at Rolling CLT Rink and Lounge. You can also reach us by phone, 704-396-4044, or email at skate@rollingclt.com. And just remember, we're here for all of your rolling mobile needs. Whether you're having a party, you're having a graduation, corporate event, or you're a university or school that's looking for fundraising ideas, we have the ability to bring the rink to you. That includes all elements of rolling out, including flooring, shoe rentals, benches, music, DJ lights, fog, everything you need to have a good time. Rolling CLT is here to bring the rink to you.
You can find me on Instagram, BossLady_Ken. Again, that's BossLady_Ken. I can also be found on Facebook, Kendria Holmes.
And if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, you can find me on Instagram at b.the.entrepreneur. I'm here for all of your one-on-one startup guidance.
Thank you. That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.